Okay. Yeah, good. I love that active voice. That really helps. And sometimes you can actually normally not in the first 15 minutes, but what you can actually do is maybe schedule a follow-up call or say, hey, how about we look at LinkedIn right now? It is actually a very powerful way, if you do the same, to get further referrals. Yes.
I had somebody do something to me that was very powerful. I met them at a Chamber of Commerce event. We connected on LinkedIn. And the next day, he said, hey, Dan, I went and looked through your connections. Can you introduce me to this person and this person and this person? I think I can help them.
That's nice. And did you feel happy to do it?
Oh, more than happy. And, you know, it was actually kind of darn impressive because at the time I had about 1,500 connections. He says, I've been trying to get into Cummings forever, and you know, so. Can you introduce me to her? Absolutely.
That's a very powerful.
If I just go back to the point you made about the referral partner.
Yes. You want me to elaborate on that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, and I think it actually could be very powerful for you too, Jen. So we talked about the obvious suspects, right? HR, recruitment, you name it. But those most likely are the people to respond the least because they get overflown the most, right? So you could say, if you look at my Elsevier, right? You could look at my LinkedIn and you could see that I know people at Elsevier, or I know someone that knows someone in Elsevier. That might not be recruitment, that might not be HR, but they are at that company. So that could be a very good way for you to speak to people. That's Elsevier. Now they are in the publishing sector. So if you have a conversation with someone, you could also say, hey, listen, do you know someone or who could you connect me to that is in the publishing sector? Because that kind of gives you a different scope, but then again, it's also the opportunity is there that in the publishing sector, they know someone within Elsevier. So it's almost as if you could make a mind map of, hey, I want into Elsevier. So who are critical people for me to connect to? HR, recruitment, but also this is the department, so marketing, broader than Elsevier, publishing sector. And that's how you kind of see referral partners.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yep.
And what I also find that if you ask for ideal client or referral partners, it is very good to be very specific, especially if you could be connected to more than one person, if you could work with more than one person and you say, oh, I work I work with everyone in the service-based industry. Right. Okay, now sure, I'll keep you in mind. But if I say, hey, I work with lawyers, do you know a lawyer? That's more specific. And then Audrey, what did you say?
What kind of lawyer?
I know, and that's the American thing that I go like, oh God, really?
Well, yeah, because we all do different things. If I'm gonna refer you to somebody, you need to know what do you need.
See, that's even more specific, but I like this because that's kind of pushing you to be very specific, and the more specific you get, the more people can refer you. Yeah, so the first 15 minutes is a very short conversation where you kind of see whether you like this person, whether you feel like, hey, this I want as a referral partner, or great, never want to speak to him again. Okay, so you first start with a classification. Now, Audrey, you're talking about meeting people. So it might very well be worth your while to first have that very short introduction call before you set up a proper meeting with them. So you actually know whether you are spot on or wasting your time.
Well, what I'm waiting for, a lot of times when you go to these legal conferences, they have an app. And then on the app, you can start seeing who is coming. And then I usually shout out before I get there.
Yeah.
And actually, some of the people that I met last time at the HMBA in March, I'm shouting out on LinkedIn saying, hey, are you going? Let's do coffee or something, you know? So that's what I'm doing for that one. But the other one, I don't really know anybody. Saying I don't know how to find the list. I've been looking every day and I don't know that the list is posted anywhere, which kind of stinks for me.
Well, either reach out to the organization and just ask for it.
Yeah, it's just, it's usually on an app. I mean, it's the ABA, for God's sake. You would think that they would have something like this. So I'm going to look into it.
Yeah, good. Okay. So first one, short research, short meeting, and then really go from there. I do send postcards after initial meeting, and I really get positive feedback. Okay. What I also do is I put them immediately in my CRM system so that I actually can track. I've started to take notes on my computer while in the session because I started to write it and then put it in my CRM. That's a waste of my time. So I do it immediately and I classify them. I classify them as in an acquaintance or a relationship, meaning, okay, I've met them, I store them, this is where they're going to be. I'm not going to continue to grow our relationship. Okay. I was thinking about this lady that kept talking. I store them as in, hey, I actually think they need my services, but they're not ready yet. You know, those are my prospects that I actually am very keen on following up. I label them as a power partner, so someone that could refer business to me or I could refer business to them. And then I have former clients and clients. So it's really, you know, what do I need to do with them? If that initial meeting is very useful and I want to talk more, I set up a longer meeting after that. So I have more time to go in depth. I had a conversation last Friday with someone that I really thought, okay, we are, you know, serving the same clients. I want to talk more. So we're setting up an appointment. And then I really get into the depth and talk about how can we, you know, join forces, work together. Now, Jen, what is important for you with the 15 minutes is a couple of things. You know, your situation is a bit different because you ask a lot of questions, right? A lot of people love to talk about themselves, especially 15 minutes. They don't mind, you know. You could always say, let's do a virtual coffee, things like that. But do ask them at the end, your 2 golden networking questions, right? What should I do next? What do you know, say is my next step? And who do you recommend I speak to next? All right. And then they say, oh, you should speak to Dan. And you say, oh, great. Could you introduce me? Okay, because they always name someone that they know, and then you ask about that. Now, for you, I would add a third question is, how can I help you? Is there anyone I can connect you with? Or just stay silent after how can I help you, or how can I add value to you? But don't assume,
Yeah, that's nice.
you know, that you don't have anything to offer, because maybe, I don't know, want to go to South Africa and they want to know about white shark diving.
Mm.
You know? So really ask that because that also tells them, hey, this is so nice.
Will do. Thank you. Mhm.
Okay, so after that initial, always send a thank you, whether you do it by postcard or in a different way, but really always say thank you for the time so that you kind of establish the meeting. Put them in your CRM system and classify them. Now is where we all want to talk about. Great, done the initial thing, and now what, right? Because what happens a lot of the times is that basically they fall off the radar, you never see them again, you never speak to them again, and you've wasted a lot of your time. Even if it was just 15 minutes, still you could have done something better. So you actually come up with a follow-up system. And what the frequency of your system is, you determine. But what I do recommend is that you at least reach out, for me, once a month. Right? And now there's the kicker. If you reach out every month saying, oh, I've got this amazing thing, or Jennifer, oh, I'm still looking for a job, you know, it kind of defeats the whole purpose. You're reaching out to build a relationship. So you are asking how they are doing, how their business is doing, you know, if the
How can
business
you help?
how can you help? If the business has been in the news, ask about it. Okay. If you, I have to laugh because this is always what is said. I never do it, but it's always said. If you see an interesting article that you think they would like, send it to them. I never come across interesting articles that I think people will like.
Move to the US.
I don't know. That never speaks to me. It does. But the thing is, if people are really on top of my mind and I see something, I don't even mind whether I need to. I just instantly send it to them and I say, I had to think of you. It doesn't always have to be long, but it's just, hey, you're in my mind. I'm thinking of you and I thought you might find this interesting. It can also be a joke. You know, I just saw this hilarious cartoon the other day about, it was really funny, about a divorce. I'll tell it because maybe you will laugh as well. A guy, there was two people sitting in an office and the woman was sitting on a chair and she said, and then the person behind the computer said, yes, I do agree with you that if your husband can eat everything he wants and not gain weight, it's a very good reason for divorce. And I just thought that was hilarious. Anyway.
It is true. It is true.
It is true, right? It just what I'm saying is if you maintain a relationship, really build the relationship, almost as if you are befriending them, seeing, hey, this came up, this is what I think about, you know, I have to think about you, how are you doing? That's it. Set a frequency. I use Asana. I will type that in. There are several systems, of course. I use that. I like it because, yeah, I do.
No, I used to.
Okay, Trello, there you go. Because what I like about it is that it sends me emails when I need to do something. So basically, when I have made that person in my list, I set them on a retainer for every month that I get a signal that I need to reach out to them. And I do. And sometimes it's a short email. How are you doing? I was thinking of you. Sometimes it is something like an article. But it can also be if I'm going to an interesting lecture of someone, hey, this is happening. Do you want to attend? You know? Okay. How does this feel? My dog started snoring again. So is this doable?
Well, I would need help keeping track of all that.
Mhm.
Because I either focus on the legal work and on the remaking, or I focus on all that. Like, there's only so much I can do in one day. So personally, yeah, it's doable, but I need that extra support. Yes, Dan.
I find myself having lots of things to do and not writing them down, and some of them falling off the turnip truck. Big things, little things, everything in between.
Well,
So-
that's why I have Trello, because I have different categories and I make my lists. And as I think of
Well-
things, I put them on there.
What I've done is in the last couple of weeks, I've created a Google form that has 3 fields in it. What, when, follow-up. So it's actually an icon on my phone. So when I'm doing things and say that I have to do something, I go to the form, enter the 3 things, and I'm done. And what I have yet to do is to put the results in a Google spreadsheet, and I'm gonna put the link to the spreadsheet on my homepage, on my phone. Like here. Somewhere on there as a link, so that what I can do is click on the link to add something in whenever I need it. And then click on the link to see all the stuff that I have to do and when. And then as I complete stuff, I'm either going to cross it off or delete it from the spreadsheet. So that the spreadsheet always contains the things that I have to get done in the next, let's say, 5 to 7 days. Okay. I know that I don't write stuff down, and I'm trying to solve that problem with me, because if I'm aware of it easily, I'll take care of it. If I can record it easily, I'll take care of it. And then sometimes Trello or Asana or any of those other larger tools are too much for me to type in a quick 3-field note to remind me to do something. Now I'm working on Trello for bigger things, projects, quotes, workflow within Indie Sign Factory. But for me personally, it's too much for me to oh crap, I have to get all those, I drove past a car dealership. Oh crap, I want to get them a proposal for putting film on their windows. Those kinds of things for me. That's, that may work for me. It may not work for you, but I'm going to try and see if it works for me, because I know I've got a problem with writing stuff down and then crossing it off the darn list when I'm done.
Yeah. I also understand what you're saying, Uri, that it can take up a lot of your time. What I've started to do, and I must say, since in Spain I haven't, so I'm going to go back into the habit, but I look at it once a week, because I was doing it every day and that was a bit much, but once a week really feels good for me. Yeah. And if you want to, this is also something, you could get help with, because it is critical. The thing is, and this is also kind of a mindset shift, because we're always quick to set up a new meeting with someone. But if you think about it, it makes more sense to really, establish and build out the relationships that you've already got. Because we know the like trust factor. We know that people need to see you 7 to 12 times before they buy from you. So why would you constantly add new, instead of focusing on those that you already have, but kind of cement the relationships that they like you so much that if they hear someone, they automatically think of you because they know what you do. And Jen, that is, by the way, also how I got my job at PwC UK. I just kept in contact, and then all of a sudden a vacancy popped up and someone emailed me saying, I think this should be you. And then I got the job. Well,
Mm,
I did a bit more, but you get the
yeah. Yeah.
So maintain a relationship, keep reaching out, but do now and again also set up face-to-face meetings, whether they are online Zoom meetings or whether you meet in person, that doesn't really matter. But it does always have to have that personal contact where you can actually speak to each other and see, hey, what's going on in your world or what's new, you know? And that really helps. That really helps when you have that relationship and then something is happening. It's easy to reach out to people and say, hey, this is what's going on. Okay, now, how does this sound? Doable? Yeah?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, it's a lot of things that I'm already doing now,
Yeah,
you know? The key for me is try to find ways to make the recording and the reminders take less time and less effort than it does now.
so how do you record it?
Well, I either record it the old-fashioned way, because I'm
Yes.
old,
Yeah,
okay? Or try to figure out a way to do it the new-fashioned way, which is the form and the Google spreadsheets that I'm trying to see if that works,
mm-hmm.
you know? It's the ERP is important to me. The automation is important to me. The keep track of leads that come in on the website is not automated. The phone calls that I get aren't automated, and I'm rarely recording them. You know, so it's all that stuff that I have to try and find a way to get a consistent system to record them quickly and easily so that I can do it.
Yeah.
And then some of the tools that I've chosen aren't quite the right tools, so I'm in the process of figuring out what the right tool is so I can swap it out.
Yeah, I hear you.
My phone service is one of them.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I've like I always was like you, then I always make notes on pen and paper because I also like it. I've now started to do it immediately in my CRM, and that really helps me. And what I do in my CRM, what's that?
That's my list of stuff I gotta get done.
Right. What I also do, and that's why I like Asana, I already immediately make that reminder. That's like the instant that I put it in there. And that does help me. It does help me because it sends me an email. And then when I go in Asana, I see all the things that I need to do. I'm not saying Asana is the way to go. I'm just saying it helps that I get the reminder sent to me, but there's also a to-do list for me to work on.
Does Asana and your CRM talk to one another? Or is Asana your CRM?
Asana is my CRM. I've started
Okay.
to use, what's the other one?
HubSpot?
Let me quickly check. I think, oh, I put it away because.
So are you,
In a previous life, I had used Asana as project management, but not as a CRM.
Yeah. I think it's HubSpot indeed, because yeah, that's HubSpot. But it's one of those things that you need to move systems, whereas actually right now this is working, so I'm gonna keep it there because. Yeah.
Okay.
so I have a question. Have
Yes.
you tried, for Dan, have you tried Trello? I'm sorry, I think you said you did, but I'm not sure.
I'm working on implementing Trello within my business, but I haven't really gone down the path of using Trello on this device.
Oh, well, download the app and it works awesome. Can I share my screen?
Yeah, it's It's a squirrel issue for me, Audrey.
It's a what?
It's a squirrel issue. Have you seen the movie Up
Yeah,
with Doug? And Doug sees a squirrel and he goes, squirrel?
oh yeah,
It's a squirrel issue with me.
oh, okay. Well, listen. I'm known to be the queen of lists in organization in my family. Like, you should have seen the wedding. Everybody got a list that they needed. Stuff they needed to do. So I'm one of those people. So I love my Trello just because I have like, for example, me. So like here,
And you should be able to.
yeah. So you see it. So this is the relationship button. Oh my God, do they have to do this now? Sorry. Anyway, so for what we were talking about, right? It just, I have potential referral partners, clients, inspiration, acquaintances, and to do,
No,
right?
I get it. I get it, but just looking at that on the mobile device is something that I haven't made the leap to.
Oh, well, it's pretty cool and it works pretty well. Because when I'm not in front of the computer, I do turn to my Trello, particularly because I have a personal. Here, let me see if I can show you. Oh, it won't work anyway. Like I have a personal tag, right? For let me get rid of my background. Here we go. See?
Audrey, we're looking at your screen now, right?
Oh, oops, sorry.
No, it doesn't matter for me, just so you know.
Let me stop sharing. Thank you. Okay, but you see, this is the app. So when I'm home, I just click on personal and I have all my stuff there. And then if I'm away from the office and I need to look at my boards for work, I look at the boards for work. So it's one app and I keep everything together. So
yeah,
I'm just suggesting it, it depends how you want to set it up and what works for you. I know everybody works differently, and I'm not trying to convince you either way. I'm just trying to show you how the app works versus, the online program.
I'll look into it.
All right, well, give me a call or if you need help, or just send me a message and we'll talk.
All right. Fair enough.
Okay, so is this more clear on relationships and relationships building? Then would you like to add some from the book? I went into it, but I know that you work with it for a long time. So is there
Now,
anything?
I'll tell you the favorite story that I learned from the book.
Mhm.
Keith Ferrazzi is the consummate networker. And he believes that if you provide value in every interaction, it will come back tenfold. You may not see it come back today or tomorrow or next week, but if you add value, you will find a way, okay? And the best story in the book, the absolute best story in the book, is he wanted to meet Buzz Aldrin. And he didn't have a way. So he said, hey, maybe I can talk to Disney about Buzz Aldrin doing some work for them. But he didn't know anybody at Disney. So he said, sent a message to Buzz Aldrin's people, hey, would you like to meet some folks at Disney? And then he sent a request to Disney and said, hey, would you like to meet Buzz Aldrin? Both of them said yes. He arranged the meeting, and then he just showed up.
Nice.
Because he told Buzz Aldrin, hey, I can get you a meeting with Disney. And he told Disney, hey, I can get you a meeting with Buzz Aldrin. And he didn't know either one of them. So he arranged a meeting between the two because they both said yes, and he just showed up. And about 10 or 15 minutes in the meeting, both the Disney folks and Buzz Aldrin realized that he didn't know either one of them.
That's pretty smart. Pretty ballsy too.
It's something that I never, ever would have considered. And when I read that story in the book, I was just, really? Oh my God. But
Have you tried it then on your own?
I don't have that much gumption, Yvonne. But it's something that perhaps I might aspire to if I get much better at networking. The Never Eat Alone book has caused me to get much better at networking because I was terrible at it before. It has influenced my behavior on LinkedIn. It has influenced my behavior on other social media platforms. And I'm not as good as Keith Ferrazzi, but I've gotten better as a result of reading the book. And it's been in print for a long time, like 12 or 13 or 14 years.
Yeah, it's on Audible as well.
Yeah, and it is, in my opinion, the best book on networking that I've ever read.
Yeah.
It's a really easy read. It has lots of easy examples. It has simple things that you can implement tomorrow. It has long-term strategies to grow your network. It's everything that it's about, right? Keith Ferrazzi was the youngest chief marketing officer for a big 6 accounting firm ever. He became chief marketing officer at 29. And because of his efforts, I think the company that he went to work for grew 3 or 4-fold in revenue than before he became chief marketing officer. And then he has since started his own consulting firm that does nothing but teach people how to do networking. It's a really, really good book.
Okay. So we'll make sure to pick up a copy. I was actually, when you said that, I had to, I think, you know, in the corporate world, if you really want to climb the ladder, you also have to be great at networking, because that's really part of how you grow. It's really the networking that gets you places.
In my opinion, it's not about your hard skills. It's about soft skills.
Yeah.
And the better that you are at soft skills, even though nobody admits to it, the more opportunities that you'll be graced with.
Yeah. And there's something I want to say about that, about the adding value. So when I listen to you, Dan, I think there's a couple of things that are important for us to take away. So first of all, it's the belief, and he has a very firm belief, and listening to you, you have that same belief, that if you add value to another, it will come back to you tenfold. But that belief has to be there. And often we want to believe it, but we actually don't. You know, there's often a belief, oh, I give everything and nothing comes back to me. If that's your belief, that's going to happen. So that's a very important mindset that you need to have. You know, I'm adding value and the value is coming back tenfold to me. So that's a very important one. Now there's also the go-givers, right? People that really always pay it forward. And part of it is this as well. You want to add value. I love that. I love that a lot of people that I know, all of you, love to give and to share and to pay it forward. But I've also found that it is more beneficial to pay it forward by certain people than by others. And I'm going to be a bit blunt here, but sometimes, and that's why I would always recommend to start with the short meetings. Sometimes you can already tell this person is a great person, but they're going to be stuck here. or they have this point of view and that's not going to bring them further. So I love them, but I'm going to leave them, right?
Or they are a taker and not a giver.
Oh, yes. And then you just go like, no, this is not, this is not. And other people, you just instantly feel like, oh, this is a good person. I like him. And I open up my Rolodex and I'm going to give more. I have experienced a lot lately that if you do it with the right people, that it immediately comes back to you. So, but do make for yourself, do make a distinction. Because otherwise, if you are constantly feeding to the wrong people or connecting with the wrong people, you will get drained. Yeah, I think that's critical. And don't be afraid to ask for what you want. You would be surprised. I had a period in time where I've done so much networking and nothing came from it that I've tried it for a while. It was really funny. I said to people, okay, I'm networking. I'm either looking for you to become my next client, for you to be a great referral porter, or my next best friend. I don't care which three, but I do want to have a good conversation to find out which three are you fitting in. And they went like, wow, that's to the point. I said, yeah, I'm sorry, but I've done so many of these non-networking. I'm done with it. I don't mind which one, but let's talk about it. And I at least had some friends from it.
Jennifer, I'll share something with you that got shared with me when I was looking for a corporate job. Okay. Every single person that you interview with has value. So if you interview with somebody and you get through the first interview and they say, I'm sorry, you're not the right fit. I'm sure that you've heard that. Immediately in the same conversation, I appreciate that. I don't want to waste your time. If you can provide me some feedback, I will treat it confidentially so I can get better. Always ask for feedback. You won't always get it, but always ask for it, because you won't get it unless you ask for it.
Yeah, true.
And B, you've gotten to know me a little bit. Can you introduce me somebody that you think is a good fit for my skills?
Yeah.
And again, you won't get a lot of people that will reply to that. But, if you're talking to a recruiter or if you're talking to an internal HR person, HR people talk to one another, and you might not be a fit for their company, but they think you're a really good, might be a good fit for their friend at the HR company that they went to high school or college with.
True.
You'll never get to that point unless you ask for it.
Yeah.
And don't be discouraged if they don't tell you.
Yes.
But in the 1 in 5 or 1 in 20 or 1 in 50, it could turn into a job.
Yeah. No, thanks, Dan. That's good advice.
And it's really hard to do the first 2 or 3 dozen times. After that, it will get easier and habit forming. To get into the habit of it, it'll become part of your natural conversation. And that's part of the art, and that's part of the art of networking.
Yeah.
Not the science, the art. And the art is the harder of the two. Always.
Yeah, true. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Jen, do you have any specific questions that we can dive into?
No, I don't. And I actually have a hard stop again. So if you don't mind, I'm going to jump off a few minutes early.
Okay, all good. I think we're going to wrap it up, but go if you have to go.
It's fine. I'll stay for the wrap up. Yes.
Happy Tuesday.
Got my mother visiting. So is it?
No, go.
That's far more important than two crazy people from the US and one from Spain.
Make that 4 crazies all together. All good. No, thank you. I appreciate the session. It's they really are good food for thought. So it's good stuff.
Good. Okay. Well, enjoy the time with your mom.
Thank you.
Audrey, do you have any queries we need to dive into now?
I'm good.
Okay.
Jen, tell her we said hi, okay?
Will do. Great. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.
right, bye.
Excellent. Bye.
Ciao.
If there are no more questions,